Good evening. Welcome to the May 13th School Board meeting. Would you please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oops. Welcome to the Lake County School Board meeting. Tonight, on our agenda, we have any changes, amendments, or additions or deletions to the agenda board?
I have a few additions.
Okay.
Added on Friday, May the 10th, was a revised attachment to item 9.05. That's the additional staffing allocations that Dr. Weisskopf sent to each of you via email. Also, item 11.02, the approval of the sale auction for the Leesburg High Ag Farm on County Road 466A. This came to us on Friday, so that's why you received it today. And we'll ask Kelly Randall to speak to that at the time that it comes on the agenda. It is time sensitive, so we needed to get it on this agenda. And added today was the two resolutions and also with that item 11.02. There was also an addendum to item 9.01, an HR personnel transaction list, and a revision to the 4 custodial job descriptions in item 9.04. All of those you have in front of you. In addition, we have a change to the job description for the building services technician to delete the requirement that they repair the irrigation system, because that is the responsibility of the grounds crew. So that will be coming back to you for a revision to that job description. And that's all I have.
Okay. And when we get to 11.02, I think Mr. Johnson might have something to comment on that as well. So we'll hold that till that time. Okay, approval of minutes, Superintendent?
I recommend approval of the minutes from the regular school board meeting, April 8th, 2019, the school board workshop, April 15th, 2019, and the school board meeting, April 22nd, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Now to our representation, our district spotlight, comment planning by our very own Ms. Sherry Owens.
So she comes to present this video. This is something when I got here, I said, my goodness, this district got this right, and that is that we have time set aside every week for teachers for common planning, something that many districts wish that they had, that we were so glad that they had that already in place here. And so we wanted just an opportunity to share the great things happening with our common planning time.
Lake County School District is a place where our students are always learning and growing into the leaders of tomorrow.
Part of our vision is to create a dynamic and collaborative learning community to support students' needs. At a number of our schools, teachers have found that a collaborative teaching tool called Common Planning is improving the learning process for both students and their teachers.
Yes, Common Planning is essentially it's our PLC process. It's where we come together to plan different tasks and assignments for our students. We check to see how they're doing and what the results are, and then come together and make decisions based on what those results were. So it's a continuous cycle of kind of that plan, check, do, and act.
The biggest benefit has been the ability to create dynamic lessons that engage the students, but it doesn't end there. To create a lesson that engages the students and then to assess them on it and to figure out where their deficits are and to go back and to reevaluate and to reassess and to see if there's any common issues going on, and then getting advice from my colleagues, seeing what works well and what I could be doing better. I'm always, as a professional, you should always be open to just getting better.
Time is a very important resource for educators. Common Planning helps teachers manage their time efficiently.
Well, I think that a lot of people believe that common planning is just a waste of time, and they think that, oh, you're taking my planning period away, where actually I think that it's it's making life easier for the teacher. It's adding resources. It's adding minds. It's just making my job so much easier. And I can't imagine teaching without someone to common plan with.
The opportunities for teachers to get the support and resources they need from one another also allow teachers to put students' individual, educational, and emotional needs first.
I just am so appreciative of all the different forms of common planning time in terms of really meeting the unique needs of middle school age students. They are so emotionally needy and socially needy that by having teams and departments, we can really cater to those needs.
I remember I had a professor once said that no child should be an accident of geography, meaning a child shouldn't be more or less prepared for the next step in their education because who they had as a teacher. Common planning really helps eliminate those discrepancies.
Each teacher has a slightly different teaching style, and so a lot of times when the students get together and collaborate from one teacher to another teacher, we start to pick up on some of the gaps that the teacher may have missed. And it allows for the students to learn from a peer the same content, but maybe in a slightly different approach. And it gives them the experience of teaching another person as well. So that helps to solidify their learning, and it helps to it helps the student that they're teaching, of course.
In addition to support for students, teachers say the common planning environment helps to foster great friendships among colleagues as well.
So it kind of pushed us all to find each other as friends and not colleagues, because we had no one, and this was our little core group, and so we kind of built it from there. So now we have all of these inside jokes, and that one day a week has become 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, where the common planning naturally happens. It's not something that we feel is forced upon us that we have to do. We see the benefits in doing it almost daily.
Within my 13, 14 years of teaching, I couldn't have done it in isolation. We can only do so much on our own, and we're not an island. No teacher ever survives being an island. So you have to have the support of your colleagues, as well as believe in them to help you grow as an educator.
It's a sense of community. We're all in this together. Nobody has all of the right answers, but together, when we put our heads together and we sit down, there's power in that. There's power in the conversation and the dialogue that occurs around where our students are and where we want them to go.
It's one of the best things in my over 30 years of teaching. Common planning the last couple of years have been amazing, and they've changed my whole teaching practice, I think, and it has made me want to stay in teaching.
Lake County Schools is the destination district for providing students with individual opportunities to excel. Stay tuned for the next district spotlight, where we will continue shining a light on what makes Lake great.
Thank you, Sherry. That was great.
Chairman, may I?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to, Ms. Owens, thank you very much. And I know I had a similar experience when I was teaching with common planning. I have to tell you guys, every word of that is true. That I have some of the very best friends that I have from common planning in fourth grade. One of them is in this room right now. And the bonds that you make, and you help each other. And I'm telling you, that was the first time I ever experienced as a classroom teacher that I didn't just see my own kids, at the time it was 25, my own 25 kids grow, but we succeeded as a grade level. So we were all invested in every kid in that grade level, and the results were, the proof was in the pudding. So I am super thrilled that that's something that we continue in this, and I can attest to it personally.
Yes, and the one comment the teacher made, that no teacher is an island to themselves. You got to be part of it. Everybody's included, so great presentation. Moving on to 4.02, the recognition of the Lake County Education Association 2019 Cynthia Schumacher Scholarship winners, Mr. Klatt, Ms. Smith, and Ms. Stevens from LCEA.
Well, good evening. I'm Stuart Clapp, president of LCEA. Lake County Education Association is the professional organization of Lake County teachers, and we've been around Lake County since about 1940s. The Cynthia Schumacher Scholarship was started by Cynthia Schumacher in the 60s and has been given basically since 1969 in one way, fashion, or another. So this year we have 5 scholarship winners, and very proud. And I will now turn it over to our scholarship chairperson, Terry Stevens.
We are very proud of these children and young adults. We have Cynthia Lawley from Eustis High School. She is going to the University of Florida, majoring in speech and language pathology, which we desperately need in education. So we're looking forward to that.
Please stay up. Have her please stay up.
Yeah. And we have Elena Roberts from Tavares High School. She's going to the University of Social Science.
Could I ask you to hold your applause until she tells us where they're going to school at?
We want to be able to yell "Go Gators" at the perfect time.
Yeah, if it's Florida, you know. Okay.
We
I'm
also
sorry.
have Liam Perna from Leesburg High School, going to Florida State, majoring in criminology.
Okay.
So go Seminoles! And Samuel Miller from Umatilla High School. He's going to Santa Fe College, and State College, and he's majoring in civil engineering. And then we have Tyler Herman from East Ridge. He is going to Florida Gulf Coast, majoring in forensics. And this is a $1,000 scholarship, and this is the Cynthia Schumacher Scholarship, which began about 40 years ago. And it began as those for education, but now we're finding that people are going into a lot of different fields. So we really, Cynthia warms our heart. Cynthia, you know that.
All right.
So, any of you, I just hope that you all have the chance to meet this marvelous educator. I know that our superintendent has.
All right. And what we'd ask you students, if you would please, to come up here and make a pass through the board. So we'd like to congratulate you, if you will. Come to the right. Miss. He's just an attorney.
That's right. Congratulations to you. Well done. Very well done. Congratulations. Congratulations. Well done. Thanks. Good job.
Also want to say congratulations to the parents because they deserve a lot of recognition as well. And something I forgot to do at the beginning of the meeting, and I apologize. Would all our moms please stand?
Can we stand, Christy?
Yes, all our moms, please stand. I would just like to formally say from my chair here, happy belated Mother's Day. Thank you. All right. I'll tell you later some things I discussed about why y'all go through everything y'all go through. Just ask me personally and I'll tell you. All right, 2018-19 Superintendent's Reading Challenge, presented by Dr. Emily Weiskopf, current Chief of Transformation.
Good evening, Superintendent, Chairman Gamble, and board members. I'd also like to ask up or invite up Amy Cockcroft as well as Sherry Smith to join me in this recognition. I am very honored and pleased to talk to you tonight about schools that have achieved some great success with reading. And so, as you know, every year we bring the Superintendent's Reading Challenge to you, and we have a goal that all children read a number of designated books at their reading level. And the goal for elementary students was 25, middle school was 12, and high school had to read 8 to meet the challenge. And each student who meets the challenge receives a certificate. But tonight we recognize schools that have 90% or higher of their population meeting the goal. And just some statistics that I would hate to leave out. This year we had 39 schools participate in the Superintendent's Reading Challenge. 25 elementary schools, including Lake Hills, had 16,580 readers. 8 middle schools had 1,697 readers, and 7 high schools had 880 readers. That's 19,157 readers, and they read 516,102 books. That's 22,755 more books than last year. So I think the message is well received that we are reading and we are creating readers for life, and that is certainly our goal as educators. So I'd like to begin by recognizing those who have 90% or higher of their population meeting the goal. And if the schools wouldn't mind coming up and just receiving an award and standing up here. And I'd also like to invite the superintendent down, since it is her challenge, to be able to shake hands with each and every one of these, and then I'll invite them up to you too as well. First up, we have Astatula Elementary.
Us to stand?
Oh, stay. Let's stay. Beverly Shores Elementary. Cypress Ridge Elementary. Eustis Heights Elementary. Grassy Lake Elementary. Groveland Elementary. Lost Lake Elementary. Pine Ridge Elementary. Rhymes Early Learning Center. Round Lake Charter Elementary and Middle. Sawgrass Bay Elementary. Tavares Elementary. Treadway Elementary.
my gosh, it's Olive Treadway.
And Triangle Elementary.
Just keep moving now.
We also have 3 more schools to recognize. I'd like to note that Lake Hills Schools is up from 30 students last year to 33 students this year. It's one of our top performing schools.
Oh, here they come.
And the middle school who had the most participation, our top middle school, was Eustis Middle School. And our top high school was Mount Dora High.
You don't want to just go down there? We'll just go down.
So I just once again want to say thank you to all the administrators and leaders, coaches, all of you who were involved in helping get students reading. Thank you very much. And if you wouldn't mind, I know that the board would like them to come up, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So if you wouldn't mind making a little circuit.
We were taking a fun.
On. Go ahead, Ms. Strawn. Lead the way.
Otherwise. We were taking an unofficial.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Y'all made me want a chocolate bar now. Congratulations. You? Well done.
Okay, that's funny.
Good. How are you doing? Congratulations. These chairs, we can't push them in too far anymore. They're comfy, but hey, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to the school. Well done. Congratulations. Okay. Yeah, doing great. Congratulations. Hi, how are you? Congratulations. Congratulations. Y'all make the couples here? Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations to you. Finally, very good. Congratulations. Congratulations to you. The school. Congratulations. Well done there. Congratulations. Congratulations.
That's a lot of readers. That is a lot of readers.
Just imagine if we had AR.
And a lot more readers.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's great news. And now Dr. Weisskopf has another presentation for Florida School Nurse Day recognition.
I do. So I'm also up here to recognize the School Nurses Day. We're a little bit late on this one, but we're going to pretend it's today, okay? Even though I'm going to read a different date, we're just going to pretend. How about that? Can we do that? So I would like to read the proclamation by the governor and then recognize those nurses that are here. So whereas children are the future, and by investing in them today, we are ensuring a healthier tomorrow. And whereas Florida's 2.8 million students in 3,706 schools need to have their health needs safely met while in the school setting, and whereas during the 2017-18 school year, there were 763,588 reported student health conditions in Florida schools, some of them requiring complex procedures and life-saving care during the school day. And whereas school nurses are registered professionals who do not only manage the day-to-day health and safety of students at school, but also serve as gatekeepers to promote student access to health care services in their communities. And whereas registered professional school nurses provide services that range from vision and hearing screenings to complex medical procedures, medication administration, sick care, first aid, and prevention of communicable diseases. And whereas registered professional school nurses are uniquely positioned to reduce health barriers to learning, which helps Florida students graduate and become self-supporting adults. And whereas Florida School Nurse Day provides a special opportunity to commend all of Florida's registered school nurses for their professionalism and dedication, and encourage Floridians to learn more about the work of the registered school nurses who care for our children. Now, therefore, I, Ron DeSantis, Governor of the State of Florida, do hereby extend greetings and best wishes to all observing May 8th, 2019 as Florida School Nurse Day. And I do know that we have some school nurses here, and I just want to let them stand and be recognized, if they wouldn't mind. Yay, yeah. Also, I know that we have a plan that we that nurses have been something that we've been really trying to expand, and I do want to thank you and the taxpayers for definitely making that happen. And so I know that tonight on the staffing plan, we have the opportunity to expand nurses and put them in all schools, and I know it makes me happy. I know it makes Dr. Landry very happy, and I know it makes the nurses that are here, both here and not here, very, very happy that we're going to be able to expand services for this. So thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to clarify something that I told you that she is in that title right now, further in the agenda. Her title could change. Not that she's leaving. I just wanted to clear that up. I didn't want y'all to say, hey, he says she's leaving. She's not. We're just going to clarify her title a little bit. She won't be called the Chief of Transportation anymore. So, all right. Oh, you should have been at the last thing I was at that she was announced that way. All right, public input. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right, public input. We have Mr. Stuart Clapp from the LCEA.
I won't introduce myself again. Good evening. I got a couple things for you. First off, on May 18th, we're having a statewide forum, Vision on Education. We have people coming from Miami, the Panhandle, about 1,000 people have scheduled, and it's being sponsored by the Coalition for Florida Public Education and the Florida Education Association, and that'll be this Saturday from 10 to 4, and being coordinated by World Cafe. And basically what it is, it's a chance to sit down with. It's not a sit and get. It's not a listening to a speaker kind of thing. It is sitting around a table with parents, teachers, administrators, community members, addressing what are the needs for public schools and how do we address that. And so it's a very interactive kind of approach, and we're very excited about it coming up. The other thing I wanted to talk about briefly is, and we've all heard about the wonderful Best and Brightest based on SAT scores, and the FEA sued the state over the dealing with the discriminatory factors, basing a bonus on an SAT score that people took when they were in high school, maybe 20, 25 years ago. That case has been settled for $15.5 million. And primarily it will be looking at teachers who had highly effective, who didn't need to take the SAT at the time because they went through community college or another avenue to go through and get their teaching degrees. So details will be coming out, but I did want to let you know that that has been settled, and we're excited about that. And on that note, that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Terry Stevens.
I'm here tonight to talk to you about our supplemental education for English language learners that we have at our school. We call it our SEAL program. And we have a group of educators that work for no pay, but we make sure that these children make the gains that they need. We have done a tremendous amount with Accelerated Reader, which is going away. And I know at one of the last few back meetings, I had Isabel speak, and I have other students that really would like to speak to you. But this is one of my students that is now a resident physician in New York. He just graduated and he was number one in his class. He went to Seminole Springs Elementary. I had him in 3rd grade. And then he went to Eustis Middle and then moved to Tavares High School. So he's a Lake County grown boy, and he was the number one graduate at FIU in medicine. He's going into pediatrics, children's cardiac surgery. And this is a report, I mean, this is just a little synopsis of what I pulled from what he sent me on why we need to keep AR for these young children. And then this is the other thing, the pros and the cons, which I think I gave you before, because we are still, trying to do our best. And if anybody wants to send us a check at Seminole Springs Elementary, I'll be grateful, because otherwise I'll pay for it myself. And so could I give you this? This is from Dr. Joe Burns. And
Give it to Ms. Challenger then.
But thank you very much.
Thank you. Courtney Franklin.
Good evening. I wore this shirt for you, Mr. Dodd.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Tonight, sometimes I come to you as a teacher, sometimes I come to you as a parent. Tonight I'm coming to you as the SAC chair at Southlake High School. You may have read 1 or 2 or 6 or 12 of my emails that are bragging about the great changes that are happening at Southlake High School. But along with the great changes, we know, as parents, as a SAC, as the admin, the staff, the students know that there's still a lot of work to do. So at this time of year, we always reflect on what has gone well and what still needs some work. It turned out that I didn't have to look too far to reflect on all the things that are going wrong at Southlake High School and in the teaching profession in general when I read a Facebook post. Although I will not disagree with the fact that teaching is a tough, sometimes frustrating job, I have a different perspective on it. Yeah, we have some testing, but the district has done its best to minimize the district testing. We can't do anything about the national or the state testing. Yeah, we have some behavior problems, but now with instituting a new PASS teacher, which, by the way, I'm one of, starting next year, and I'm really excited about it, we're hoping to take some of that burden of those maybe not perfectly behaved kids in our classes, take some of that burden off of the teachers so that they can focus on the 95% of kids who are there to learn at Southlake, at Pine Ridge, at many other schools. Yeah, we do have active shooter drills, but I think that's a perfect way to open the conversation about what we have to do. Kids are growing up in a different world than we grew up in. And if they don't, it's not just schools, it's every place. It's where we live today. So we need to open that conversation so they're not completely caught off guard if, God forbid, something happens. I think that a drill is a perfect way to start a conversation with the children and with the faculty, as a matter of fact, to figure out what we would do when we would do it, different scenarios. The first thing that we want to do when we bring our kids in is to keep them safe. We can't teach them if we don't keep them safe. So those are different perspectives on our testing, on our active shooting drills, on our behavior problems. But at the end of the day, at Southlake High School, what I see is a picture of Southlake High School and some negative comments behind it. And we all know that people read headlines and they see a picture and all of a sudden it goes stuck in their head. But that is the parents at Southlake High School know, the staff, the admin, the kids, we all know that we're doing great things. Our graduation rate was the highest increase in Lake County last year. Every one of our markers is up this year at the mid-year from the beginning of the year. All good things are happening. So I hope that people focus more on the positives than on the negatives. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Ms. Cronin, Kim Cronin. Let her speak to it, and then we'll decide if we won't go on or not.
Good evening, school board members, superintendent. A couple of weeks ago, I was not real happy with some of the things on your staffing plan. I think tonight we're worked through a lot of issues. Food service, I believe, needs to work together with administration, and I think that's a good thing that we're working through. I do wish that administration and maybe managers had a little bit more say in the hours that are given out and how they're given out, maybe to current employees. I did have a couple of things on job descriptions, but I've been assured that you guys have been given some updates on the custodial and grounds. So I think we're good. I just want to remind you, though, I know we're going to have a budget meeting on the 3rd, but we're still negotiating for compensation, too. So money in the budget scares me. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Tibbetts?
Superintendent Cornegay, board members. First of all, here we are almost at the end of the school year. Thank you for a great job and for their service. And for the teachers here tonight and the parents. This week is a celebration as we graduate our seniors. What a thrill it is. The only comment I have tonight is I wanted to make reference to the discussion item 11.02. Please don't blow it like we've done in the past. We've got a wonderful offer and a lot of money sitting out there that we can desperately use. Do not mess this up. You're going to be presented with 3 options, but we've got an offer on the table. It's a real good offer. Please don't let it go away. Thanks again for all your hard work. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Can I make just one comment?
Yes, sir.
We have some special guests in the room before we continue. We have 4 students from Lake Minneola High School, the student government. Wherever they are, would they stand up? They're observing us tonight. There we go. Thank y'all very much.
There we go. Is your mic on?
Sorry, I didn't have a mic on. Good job, girls.
Yes. Now you have us all up here nervous because you're going to grade us, right? Don't worry, we're not nervous. All right, moving on to our reports. 6.01, the Educational Foundation report by Ms. Carmen Cullen-Batt, the Executive Director, and I think she has some guests with her tonight. They're not coming up with you?
They are in a second.
Okay.
School board chair, school board superintendent. The Education Foundation is going to be very busy tomorrow night. We have 2 different events at the college, our retirement dinner, which we have 83 in attendance, and then we also have our Take Stock in Children contract signing workshop and dinner. We had a strategic planning session. We brought in Beth McCall from Marion County this past week and found it very productive. And we are looking at aligning ourselves in this next year with priorities of the district. And in light of the strategic plan, there will not be a meeting in the month of May for the foundation board. For the past 10 years, on the first Monday in May, or second Monday in May, I've stood up with Mr. and Mrs. Strong, Steve and Stephanie, to present the scholarship recipients, and we'd like to do that again tonight. Mr. and Ms. Strong?
Hello.
Hello.
The Scott Strong Memorial Scholarship Committee is pleased to announce and recognize the 11 recipients of $18,000 in scholarship awards this year. Our committee members include our chairman, Dean Simmons, Lori Strong Ricketson, Lisa Strong Joe Dre, Stephen Strong, Carmen Cullen, and myself. Scott served as a Lake County School Board member from 2000 to 2008, and he was named the State of Florida School Board Member of the Year in 2008. He was a staunch supporter of his family, his community, and education. To date, our little scholarship fund has distributed $109,250 to 101 recipients. And now, as I
Hold
call
on,
your
that
name.
deserves,
Thank
I'm sorry, but that deserves some recognition.
you. Thank you very much. Okay, now as I call your name, please join us at the podium. Isabella Leon received $1,000. Bella is a senior at Eustis High School. She plans to attend the Florida Institute of Technology to pursue immune therapy. Excuse me. Dylan Humphreys, $1,000. Dylan is a senior at Leesburg High School. He plans on attending Lake Sumter and studying cybersecurity. Jenna Croft, $1,000. Jenna is a senior at Leesburg High. She plans on attending the University of Florida pre-med. Next, we have Dean Rooney. He received $1,000. Dean is a senior at Leesburg High. He's been accepted to Florida State University, where he'll be studying elementary education. And we have Carly Beeman, $1,000. Carly is a senior at Leesburg High School also. She'll be attending Lake Sumter for speech therapy. And we have Melissa Breedy, $1,000. Melissa is a senior at Leesburg High. She'll be attending Lake Sumter and is seeking a degree in nutrition. Lane Davis, $1,000. Lane is a senior at Leesburg High. After completing his AA at Lake Sumter, he plans to pursue a business degree from UCF. Aaliyah Anderson, $2,000. Aaliyah is a senior at East Ridge. She'll be attending UCF for mechanical engineering. And we have Bailey Stevens, also $2,000. Bailey is a senior at Umatilla and will be attending Stetson or Southeastern University for elementary education. David Wilson, $2,000. David is a senior at Leesburg High. He'll be studying marine biology at the University of South Florida. And finally, we have Catherine Usry, $5,000. Katie is a senior at East Ridge High, but has already graduated from Lake Sumter with her AA. She'll be going to the University of Florida to become a neurosurgeon. The combined average GPA of these 11 amazing young adults is 4.547. There is no doubt in this committee's mind that they will achieve everything they aspire to. And in closing, finally, if we can all make a note, our Educational Foundation's annual Scott Strong Memorial Scholarship Golf Tournament will be held this year on September 27th. And the Scott Strong Clay Shoot, which was a huge success this year, is February 28th of 2020. Again, thank you all.
Thank you.
Carmen.
I assume you want to shake their hands? Okay.
And I'd just like to say while they're coming, thank you very much to the Strong family for all that you do for Lake County students. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you for having us.
Congratulations to you. Well done. Well done. Congratulations. Congrats. Go Gators. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. Congratulations. Well done. Congratulations. 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 Go Gators. Congratulations. Well done.
Were there any questions from the foundation? Any questions from the foundation?
No.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, Mr. Mathias.
Oh,
Carmen,
Carmen.
you want to give us a report on how our superintendent's doing?
I think our superintendent is great.
Talk about
You
dancing.
talking about her dancing?
Dancing.
We had our organizational meeting last Thursday, and she has met her partner, and I believe she has some lessons up and coming. So I'll be sure to fill that in.
I understand
I'll send
she's
you-
learning a new language.
Yes, yes.
I wanted to know if she was at the clay shoot.
I was not there.
Well, maybe next year.
Next year.
All right, thank you very much. All right, moving on. Mr. Attorney,
Nothing.
did you want to speak at this time to 11.02?
No, I think when we get to the item.
Okay. All right. Superintendent, or nobody has anything on the consent agenda to pull? Nothing? Seeing nothing? Last
We didn't have
chance.
anything earlier?
All right, Superintendent?
Recommend approval of consent agenda items 8.01 to 10.20.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second? Did you get the second? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Discussion item 11.01, the tentative approval of School Board Policy 3.01.
In accordance with school board policy, I bring to you for your approval the organizational chart of the district administration that was presented to you in the 5-hour workshop dated on April the 15th. This is essentially just the title changes of the chiefs, the 4 chief positions to assistant superintendents of their respective departments. And if you needed another copy of that, I happen to have one with me. Otherwise, I am asking for your approval of item 11.01, a tentative approval of the school board policy 3.10.
So moved.
Chairman, before you do that, it's a public hearing.
Oh,
right.
Right.
The item before the board is tentative approval of School Board Policy 3.10, Administrative Organization. If there's anyone here this evening that wishes to speak to this policy, please come forward to the podium at this time. Mr. Chairman, I don't see anyone coming forward and believe it appropriate to close the public hearing.
Okay, so moved. All right, you've heard the superintendent's recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. 11.02, the approval of sale action for the Leesburg High Ag Farm on County Road 466A. And before Ms. Kelly speaks, Mr. Attorney?
Well, I just wanted to point out, this was an item that didn't come in until this past Friday, which is shorter than the usual time for the regular agenda to be put in place. So I think to go forward, the chairman would have to make a determination that there was good cause to do so. My understanding of what's being requested of the board is that there be authorize a sale of the Leesburg High Ag Farm either as a sealed bid is one option, or the second option is a private sale, or move forward as a third option of continuing the quiet title action. I believe if that's all that's being requested tonight on this particular item, then, Mr. Chairman, I think it would be good cause to move forward. You're only administratively making a decision about one of the 3 methods your policy allows you to make. And given the fact that the real estate market is fairly volatile, then it would seem to be that you would have good cause to go forward with those options tonight. Now, I would a different opinion if you were looking to make an offer or make a proposal to sell it tonight, but tonight it's the methodology that you're approving.
Okay.
So you need to make a determination of whether you think that's good cause.
Well, I think it's good cause to go forward as you have proceeded to tell us, just that we cannot go forward as to saying that we're actually going to sell it tonight.
Right.
Okay? Ms. Kelly?
Thank you. Thank you, board members. Thank you, board chair. Thank you, superintendent, for the opportunity to bring this forward before you tonight. You may know some background on the Leesburg High Ag Farm property. It is on County Road 466A on the very edge of the county, adjacent to Marion County. It was obtained by the school board back in around 1950 through 3 different actions, and we have had it ever since. In 2007, the board at that time voted to, as part of an assessment of all our vacant properties in the Northwest area, to clear the title on the property and then declare it surplus and place it up for sale. Clearing the title has been, I think Elizabeth would agree, a bit of a challenge. We have some reserved oil and mineral rights on that property that are still outstanding. We had brought to you in March a request to allow us to do a quiet title action that would clear the remaining oil and mineral rights on that property. We had started that process, received a proposal from an expert appraiser that it's a very specialized field. So we had received the proposal, but we had not authorized that proposal at this point. As of last week, we received a offer unsolicited for this property, and that kind of triggered consideration of whether we want to go ahead, whether the market is in the right place to move forward with this at this time. There are a couple of steps that the board needs to take in order to declare property surplus. And basically, we had already, as part of the process over the 12 years that I've been working on this, done the educational plant survey. So that's one step. It's already been done. In 2013, we considered a resolution, or the board considered resolutions on both. This property actually is divided by 466A. So there's a very small triangle, about 2.5 acres on the south side of that road, that is part of the entire parcel. And then there's a larger parcel that's about 27 plus acres on the north side of the road. The board.
How many acres is it total?
I'm sorry?
How many acres is it total?
30 plus or minus. But it really is 2 very distinct pieces of property.
Okay.
Sorry, I just lost my train of thought there for a minute. Back in 2013, the board considered resolutions on both pieces of property to declare them surplus. At that time, they decided not to declare the northern piece surplus. They did do the resolution, it's 2013-08, to declare the southern piece surplus. So basically, that would be your next step, is to do the resolution to declare it surplus and to make a decision on how you want to sell that. So there are 3 possible actions before you tonight. As Steve said, there is a resolution to sell the property by public sale. That would mean a sealed bid process that we would run through our procurement department. Up until the state changed the rules for disposal of school board property, it was actually a requirement that you do it that way. They've changed the rules. We've changed our policy in order to reflect those rules, and so you no longer have to do that. The other option would be a resolution to dispose of or sell the property by private sale, which means that you could negotiate with any possible buyer who comes forward. And the third is to decide not to approve a resolution at this time and to request staff to move forward with the quiet title action. We clear the oil and mineral rights issue and then come back with another resolution to go ahead and sell it at that time. So those are the 3 actions for your consideration, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have on it.
Or do you have any questions?
Why is this a essentially emergency action?
So this is we received an offer. It was unsolicited, but it's actually a very good offer. And as Mr. Johnson said, the real estate market is fairly volatile. This is the best offer that we've gotten. There's a time and opportunity cost to clearing the title. It will take us probably at least 6 months, and it will cost us probably $50,000, if not more than $50,000. The proposal that I received for the appraisal was actually over $27,000. So, that can add up very quickly. So there's an opportunity cost to it.
Is it required that we clear the mineral rights if the buyer decided he didn't care?
If the buyer, I think Steve can probably speak to this a little bit better than I can, but my understanding is if the buyer accepts that.
That's what I read in your resolution that would,
Right.
to that point.
It can be in the contract that the
That we retain?
buyer is taking it subject.
We don't, the mineral rights are, it's like a silly thing.
No, we did that, the parcel in Fruitland Park that we cleared the title of. I mean, basically with the set-offs and the area where these properties are, you know, you can mine 1 square foot of the property, and so it has essentially zero value.
Right.
It's just a technicality that's still sitting
It's
out.
my understanding that the buyer may not care about that.
Well, this was several donors of this property, and we're down to, there were 3 different families that were here in the 40s and 50s, and 2 of those families, we've already gotten documents to take care of any interest they would have, and so we're down to 1 unfindable family, at least at the moment.
Right.
It's 15 acres out of the total 30 plus or minus acres.
But before we commission any kind of expense, that we need to look at whether it's even necessary. That's my point.
I agree.
Why would we even consider putting it up for a bid process? Not, I mean, knowing we have an offer on the table and the dollars would be, I mean, I know that that's not what we're negotiating, but knowing we have an offer that's reasonable, would there be a reason to put it up for private bid?
Yeah, I think there's plus and minuses both ways. It's, you take some risk that this buyer could walk away, or, you know.
But if the buyer walks
you have
away,
to-
we can.
We can get another offer.
Or we
right.
could get another offer.
Yeah, that's sort of how it worked at Dabney. Right.
Or didn't work at Dabney.
Right.
We ended up getting a private negotiation and ended up closing the deal.
Yes.
That's how it went down. When it went to auction, it didn't close.
Which one's that?
Dabney.
Dabney.
On Dabney, right. But then I think there was a market issue as well, because that was right after the recession, so.
Okay.
This is,
I'd like to make a motion
Well, I think the superintendent wants to make a recommendation.
on either of these.
Uh-huh.
That's fine, too.
I was withholding my recommendation until I found out what the pleasure of the board was. So I'd be interested in any further conversation you have about the item.
I say we proceed with the private sale.
And this was already, like, I mean, you just described how they've been looking at trying to sell this since 2007. This was part of Stipender's thing?
When, no.
Okay.
It actually was 2013, I think. Right, when it-
well, the board declared it surplus in 2007. It really kind of picked up steam in 2013.
We spoke about it in 2013 as the first time, as we were going and looking at all of the surplus properties we had. And that one, with it adjoined to the villages, right next to the villages, there was some thought that it would increase in value, which I think we've seen that's happened.
In 2013, we actually received an offer for, I think it was 2.5 million, and we thought it probably would increase.
And it did, obviously.
Obviously it
Property's
has.
also been subject to the 3-way deal between the city of Tavares and the Lake County and the school board that got us the property at, Lane Park? Is that where it is?
Yes.
That was part of the frontage on this piece, and the part across on the south side were part of that transaction too. So there's already been some transfer of those property between us and the county to deal with straightening their road and making it 6 ways, and it took some of that property out, and it was appraised, and a appraisal number was used per square foot when we did that.
Yeah.
Which was 5 years ago.
It took some time to get that all done. There were some, what they call Murphy right-of-way deeds. Is that
Yeah.
right, Steve? Where the state actually had to release some rights on it. It's been a pretty complicated project, but I think we're actually in.
Good standing.
Well, I recall back when Scott was on the board here, that was one of the things that he was interested in trying to do was property that we were not going to build on, why are we keeping it?
He was a very.
When we could get a fair price for it. So he was for any of this type of property, we need to get rid of it if we're not going to build on it, if we're not going to do something with it.
Right.
And I know that, I just want to clarify, I know that we don't have any other offers and we're not making an offer today, but is 162.5, or do you not want to say? I mean, is that considered a fair?
What's up?
Well, well, when you said it was about 30 acres, so it's 162,500 an acre. That's,
Right, well, the offer is actually only for the north side of the property.
okay.
So it's more like 27 acres, so a little bit higher.
So a little higher.
It's 27 and it's 4 and change a foot. That's the offer.
Yeah.
And I think you're,
Or that is
or
what
that you're
they're speaking about.
authorizing a private sale, not the.
Not the private sale.
No, but all I'm doing is telling them where it sort of sits right now. If that they're potentially, it's not like we're going to vote and not have any action, that we're probably going to get some action really quick.
Yeah, I agree.
Any further comments or questions? Superintendent then?
And I'm recommending approval of the resolution to authorize the sale of the Leesburg Ag Farm through private sale and negotiate with an individual buyer.
So moved.
Second.
And we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, board, we're going to backtrack just a second and ask Ms. Stevens if she would come back to the podium. And she has a recipient that is here now.
Thank you, Chairman Sandy, and Madam Superintendent. I appreciate it, and board. We have Tyler Herman from East Ridge that just arrived, and he is going to Florida Gulf Coast for forensics, and he is a recipient of a $1,000 scholarship. And we
Tyler, we'd like for you to come up here, buddy.
Well done. Congratulations.
All right. Moving on now to our superintendent's report.
I want to thank all of our parents and businesses and community organizations who honored and celebrated our teachers last week during Teacher Appreciation Week. Well-deserved recognition, and we appreciate all of the community support in honor of our teachers. As we approach the last day of classes, which is May 24th, if you can believe that, this year has flown by. I want to remind everyone that May 22nd, 23rd, and 24th are early release days, and the schools will use their Wednesday dismissal times for those 3 days. And we also want to remind everyone that schools and offices will be closed on Monday, May the 27th, in honor of Memorial Day. And lastly, as we head into graduation season, it actually kicked off last Friday at Lake Hills with their graduation. We have the others remaining throughout this week. I know we'll all be busy attending those ceremonies. We want to congratulate all of our graduates of the class of 2019.
All right. Any letters, condolence?
Oh. Moment, please. We have one letter of condolence. Diane Washburn, she's the mother of Elizabeth Delpert, our fiscal assistant, ESC, and mother-in-law of Dale Delpit, one of our retired principals. So condolences went to their family in the loss of their mother.
All right. Board members?
Yeah, I have comment now.
Okay.
I was really moved by Mrs. Franklin and you coming up to the podium to defend your school and to speak about the amazing profession of being a teacher and how proud you are to teach. That's amazing. So we hear headlines sometimes don't tell the whole story, and it certainly doesn't tell the story of the 2,000 teachers that enjoy and are passionate about what they do every day, and that's what we should be talking about. I want to congratulate all the seniors that will be graduating at Lake Minneola High School. That this year I will be with them, and I know I'm supposed to be at South Lake, but I'm leaving the country on the 18th, and so I won't be there, but next year I'll be at South Lake. So thank you, Courtney, for all you've done. And that's it.
Ms. Luke?
Well said, Mr. Mathias. Thank you very much, Ms. Franklin. I also wanted to congratulate the seniors. I think everybody's got that on their mind right now, seeing graduations this week. But I also wanted to just tell the teachers, keep going. We have 10 days left, and I know in our house we have something. Well, 9. That's right. Today is over. We have something every night, so I know that the teachers are celebrating, administrators are celebrating. We have athletic celebrations and academic celebrations and band celebrations, and it seems like we are celebrating every night, and everybody is exhausted, and the kids are done, and so we just want you to know we're praying for you guys to finish strong and start a summer break. So thank you.
Well, speaking of celebrations, I had the distinct honor to represent the board at the Lake Sumter graduation, which included the recognition of all the Health Science Collegiate Academy graduates for this year. And what I thought was particularly exciting in that moment is having attended many of our high school graduations over the years, there's usually a handful of kids who are acknowledged and recognized for having completed their AA. And here we're talking like 51 kids. I thought, oh my gosh, that is, I don't know the math off the top of my head, but that is a significant multiplication of what we have seen. So as we're talking about opportunities to challenge students and to push them to the next level and to make those opportunities available, this has been a great avenue for that, and it's been a long time in the making, and finally now 4 years later, we see the first cohort going through, and the second cohort looks even larger than this one, as you know, I think some folks realize how challenging the program is, and they've been able to adjust to that. And so big thanks to Dr. Sedor, who allowed me to stand there on stage and welcome these graduates across the stage. So I enjoyed celebrating with them then and get the opportunity to celebrate with those that will also be graduating East Ridge High School this week as well. Looking forward to that celebration. Speaking of celebrations, I had the opportunity to attend Windy Hill Middle School. We might recognize the name Michael Tarquin because he was one of our finalists for Teacher of the Year. And standing in his celebration end of the year for these theater kids, I can see exactly why he received such an honor. To see the impact that his program has had on students was really, really touching. A couple of the students came up to speak and share their experience about how the performing arts has changed their lives. What an impact. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And that just goes back to underscore the value of the decisions that we've made to ensure that the arts are available to all of our students starting in elementary school. Because it truly does impact their lives, and hearing firsthand from these kids, algebra is important, but there's this other piece too. So it was a great celebration as well. And finally, I wanted to throw out an opportunity that's an opportunity of a lifetime. We get a couple of seats with the Osceola County Four Corners Charter School because of an agreement, I guess, a long time ago. Osceola School District gets 3 of those seats, and 2 of those seats come to us here in Lake County. Giving this one a lot of thought, I thought, well, gosh, I don't know that I really have a dog in the hunt for students going to a charter school outside of Lake County, right? So I just wanted to pose that out there to anybody who's listening, the opportunity that I'll certainly proxy that seat to you. I know Mr. Mathias has done the same with his. But perhaps maybe there's somebody a little closer to that school that has a vested interest in a charter school in Osceola County. But for me, I'd like to kind of focus more of our attention here in Lake County on the schools that exist here. So I'll throw that out there. If somebody's interested, let me know. And I guess if I don't see any interest, then we'll talk about next steps from that point. But thanks.
Thank you. I was able to attend the Take Stock in Children breakfast, and we recognized a lot of those students today. I, as a board member, really didn't know what Take Stock was, and hadn't therefore gone to one of their breakfasts before. And I was really very impressed by the whole program. What I didn't know was these children are mentored all the way through high school by our wonderful volunteers who really invest their time in these children. And then we obviously recognize them with scholarships, and as they move on into college, Take Stock is starting a college reach out program to help these kids get through that critical first year and beginning time in college, which as a person who's taught in college, I know that's a desperately needed time where we lose a lot of kids. And I was really impressed by the whole breakfast and the program and the children were very impressive. So it was I was grateful to be able to attend, and grateful to all of our wonderful volunteers who make that program happen. I also attended the Leesburg High School Academic Excellence Awards banquet this this year, and at that we get to celebrate all of the kids at Leesburg High School all year, freshmen through senior, that make A's and B's all year, and we had another great group of kids. It was a lot of fun. Ms. White, Dr. Weisskopf attended with me, and it's just a great celebration of all of the wonderful academics that are going on at Leesburg High School. I wanted to say that I'm so proud and so very grateful to all of our taxpayers in Lake County for supporting having a nurse in every school. I am beyond excited about the fact that we have a nurse in every school, including our high schools now, or we will. And my own son, when he was at Spring Creek, there was a nurse who just suggested to me, maybe his issue is this, and he was missing a lot of school. And this nurse was right, and it was something we could get checked out and figured out because of the school nurse, who's often the person on the front lines. So even me as an involved parent, I couldn't figure out what was going on with my kid who was missing a lot of school. And it was really great. And so having a nurse in every school is going to be a wonderful opportunity for all of our kids. I'll be attending Leesburg High School's graduation again, and it's something I look forward to every year. It's always a wonderful, wonderful event. And also, I wanted to send out my appreciation for all of our teachers who I know are just making it over the finish line. That you can do it, and we're all behind you, and thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just like to say also, I was at the Take Stock in Children breakfast, and it was great to be at and see all the students that are moving on and the careers that they're looking at taking. And then tonight with what we had here, even with the strong scholarships and the other students that came forward, with our seniors are doing a phenomenal job. Our teachers are doing a phenomenal job with our kids and educating our kids and getting them into a better program after high school, and I appreciate it. What's fascinating to me was the last young lady, she's already got her AA, and, I'm like, wow. Back when I was in high school, we was trying to get just a 4.0. They're getting a 5 and all. I'm like, wow, So, okay, moving on, though. This past week, we were at the Lake Hills graduation, and I don't know if you've ever been there for something of that nature there. I like to go there for the prom as well. When they have that, but as also the graduation, it's just great to see these kids as they come forward and be recognized as they are finishing their education there at that school. This past week, we were also at the Special Olympics banquet over in Eustis High School, and I've been invited to go this coming Friday. I had to make sure that I wasn't at a school Friday night, but I've been invited to go to the Special Olympics at the ESPN Wide World of Sports, where they will be doing the torch passing and all there, so to represent us as well. And then tomorrow night, as Ms. Carmen noted too, the retirement banquet and the Take Stock in Children, contract signing and all at Lake Sumter will be there for that. This week, we're lined up with graduations going, and some going to UCF, some going to Claremont, some going to Umatilla, and just some going, but we're all involved in this. And it's not just the board members also, it's the staff the superintendent has appointed to send and represent at the schools, because we can't be at all of them. We have too many high schools for 5 board members just to be at. So we appreciate the staff also going to these events as well. I'd just like to say, we've already had some vandalizing done at a high school. This time of year, that's what happens. And usually it's the night before or whatever, 2 days before actual graduation at the high school. And this is one that actually that they are planning on having their graduation at the high school, but they do have a backup plan if it does rain. And to me, this is, parents, please know where your students are, your kids are at all times at nighttime, and keep them off our schools and vandalizing our property, because it does a lot of damage. But the main thing I would just like to say in closing is I appreciate every individual that works for the Lake County School System for all that you do, behind the scenes, in the scenes, and out in front. Because without all of us working together, it would not happen. This graduation would not be successful, and everything that is happening as far as the grades and increases that we're doing at the schools if we all didn't work together. And I appreciate everything that you do. Thank you very much. And that's all I have tonight. Good evening. Oh, y'all need